that it can be done easier with fewer people.
No, no. Let's not badmouth anybody we don't have to badmouth. The leadership at the national level and the state level in math education is very poor, and they are fighting what I'm doing because. And we're going to win. And when we win, they're going to all eat crow, and they're not going to like it a bit. And they said to me, John, be nice. Give them a way out. And there's no reason to give them a way out. These people have been in charge of our students' mathematical education for 30 years, and they haven't done their jobs.
I think that the way out
math education, and a maverick who is unafraid to take on the education establishment. He's written his own math textbook series that is now used in more than 8,000 schools nationwide. John Saxon, welcome to the show. My second guest is Richard Long, the Director of Government Affairs for the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics. I'd like to thank you both for being on the program, and I confess that I have no idea what this debate is about, other than just sort of on the surface. What's really going on here? What's the controversy?
Well, we've been looking for the National Council of Teachers of Math for leadership in mathematics for the last 30 years. And what they come up with is 10-year fads. They came up with the with the new math. It didn't work. Then they came up with the agenda for the 80s. It didn't work. Now, none of these programs are tested before the recommendations are forced on the nation. Now we have something called the standards, and the standards have not been tested and proved to work. And what they have in the first 2 volumes of the standards, the word vision is used 30 times. Now, I have this last volume of the standards, the testing, which I believe is a racist document, because they use the word vision 16 times in the first 6 pages. None of it has ever been tested, and it says to what we must do for underrepresented groups. They are real good at euphemizing. If the groups are underrepresented, I think what they mean is blacks and Hispanics. And the blacks and Hispanics are underrepresented, so we're going to change the way we test so that these people will feel good about themselves. And I'm in favor of improving the math education of the blacks and Hispanics. And this year I'm giving $250,000 worth of free math books to the Houston Public Schools. We'll do another $750,000 in other Texas schools to demonstrate that these schools where we have the underrepresented groups, they can come up high without changing the test. We don't water things down for underrepresented groups. We pull them up. The blacks and Hispanics have more pigment in their skin, but their gray matter is the same as the gray matter of a white person. And it's our job not to water down the testing, but to pull them up. And we have been able to do this in schools all over the nation.
Okay, well,
schools and in suburban schools. We need highly structured programs. And the NCTM is against highly structured programs. And even if they have been proved to produce results. And this NCTM has caused this disaster in mathematics education by their namby-pamby.
Let me, this might be a sign of my ignorance, but I mean, x plus 2 equals 5, solve for x. I mean, I wouldn't think you would need a big mathematics background to be able to teach that. I mean, am I missing something?
Yes, you're missing quite a bit. I'll talk to you later. No. The teachers are trapped in the elementary school for 6 hours, and we cannot ask them to invent the math programs that they are to use. We must have highly effective programs that have been tested in hundreds of schools nationwide and proved to be effective that are teacher independent. And the teacher people say, we're going to train the teachers. And that's not the answer, and we've been trying to do this for 30 years. The teachers must be given something that works and shown how to use it and say it works. And we have this, but we are being blocked by this organization who said that we want teachers to be able to be able to do anything they want to do.
Okay, well, let's go back to the phone lines. Besides now,
the third time I took trigonometry. My father encountered Dr. Strawn on the street, and he says, "How's John doing in trigonometry this time?" And Dr. Strawn said, "Mr. Saxon, John's smart enough, and he could make an A if he just come to class." He says he only allowed 4 cuts a quarter. He's already had 5 this quarter. If he cuts one more time, and this was the 3rd time. There are a lot of John Saxons out there, and they taught me not to like math the way it was taught then. Then I have taken calculus for 7 semesters. I took it at West Point. I made DD. That was all it was required. Then I was ashamed. I took it again my first duty station and made C. I took it when I went back to get my degree in aero so I could go to test pilot school with Grissom and Cooper. I took it again when I got my 2 courses. I've taken it 7 times. I have never made an A in calculus. But I have written a calculus book from my vantage point of trauma and the horrible experience that I had with math when I went along. And I'm writing books that will, I thought they were good because I could read them. I really thought I was dumb. These people had convinced me that I was dumb. And I'm not dumb, and a lot of these kids out here are not dumb. And we have got to have programs that are tested and proved. And the publishers, most of the publishers are going along turning out books that agree with the standards of the NCTM, which have never been tested. And my books are rejected. I'm not in a single major school system in the country, with the exception of Muskogee, Oklahoma, and but the little schools where they're allowed to make decisions and they don't care about the NCTM are we're doing wonders with them.
Okay, well, let's go back.
Because the bureaucratic structure of the public schools, if you go to your local superintendent and say, "Superintendent, what did you make in Calculus 2, Physics 2, or Chem 2? He says, "I didn't take any of those courses." He has a doctor's degree in education. He doesn't know anything. If you ask him what foreign language other than his own he speaks, he says, "Well, I don't. I have a hard enough time with English." And he does. And what we have in America, we have our uneducated being led by the ignorant. And one of the things we have got to do is ensure that to get a doctor's degree in education, you must have at least a good high school education.
Okay, well, we are coming up on another.
Right, they're pointing out the problem a long time ago. No one seemed to have hit upon it. He said that you can't teach word problems using 1960 car parts in 1990. And the problem is that mathematics should be completely divorced from what you're applying it to. There's no reason why you can't use horse and buggies for mathematics. Not that you should do it with the horse and buggy method, but half of a tortilla is the same thing as half of an apple, is the same thing as a half a piece of cornbread.
That's totally correct. The man hits the nail right on the head. In my books, I put problems like this. When the teacher was horrified when she looked in the hall because she saw the ratio of the erudite to the unlettered was 2 to 42. And if there were 4,600 students in the hall, how many were unlettered or how many were erudite? Well, what is erudite? Well, it means book learned, but unlettered means you can't read. But it's what we're doing, the man is right. What we're doing is teaching the concept of ratio, and it makes no difference. The concept of ratio is not racist. It does not come better from the ghetto or from suburbs or from the inner city school. We should be teaching the concepts, and this is the important thing.
Well, actually, I think my wife is watching down.